bow apologetically. Suzuha, this is... we wanted to make it a surprise. We didn't mean to scare you. Suzuha? Brother, did you know about this? Yeah. See, that's why you were acting kind of weird today. I'm sorry, Suzu. It was Mayushi who planned it all. So don't get mad at Yuki or Daru. Get mad at Mayushi. Oh, come on, big sis Mayu. Do I always get mad like that? Suzuha looked around the room again. Wow, it's hard to believe this is the same lab. Right? We all decorated it together. Yeah, it's really amazing. It's pretty. Suzuha laughed half-heartedly, began backing toward the door. Where are you going? Huh? You're guys having a party, right? I don't want to get in the way. Come on, brother. You know I don't belong in a place like this. It's not true, Nya. Let's all have a party together, Nya. But I've never done this stuff before. You just have fun and eat food and talk. So come on, okay? Mayuri grabbed Suzuha's hand tightly to keep her from getting away. Big sis Mayu? Come on, we've got a seat for you too, Suzuha. But I really don't know what to do. Sit down, okay? Suzu. Mayuri half dragged Suzuha over the next seat to me and forced her to sit down. Okay, every kitty, the gang's out here now, Nya. A round of applause, everyone. Everybody started to applaud at Fubuki's signal. Daru played some Christmas carols on the computer. The grim atmosphere had begun to fill the room, was banished. I felt a little relieved. Okay, let's start with the toast, Nya. Pour your favorite drink into your glass, Nya. Everybody started to look at the various drinks on the table. Here, Suzuha. Suzuha still looked like she was feeling as though she didn't belong, so I poured her some non-alcoholic champagne. Oh, yeah. I really don't think I can do this. Why? Because I didn't come to this era to play. She came to this era, huh? Didn't have the right to say anything about that. The only reason that she was stuck here, unable to fulfill her task. Even so, is it bad to do this once in a while? But Suzuha, you think too much. Daru joined the conversation. All you're doing is having a meal with everyone. You're hungry either way, right? Well, maybe Daru's statement caused her to realize it because her stomach rumbled. See? Everybody made a lot of food for you, so just say thanks and eat it. Everybody, you all got your drinks ready, Nya? Alright, let's have a word from Mayushi, who put this party together, Nya? Uh-huh. Mayuri stood up, flustered. As she stood, she bumped into Lukako, who was standing next to her. The two of them almost spilled their drinks. Oh, sorry, Luka. Mayuri, calm down. Okay. Mayuri started to take deep breaths. It's Christmas Eve today. There's normies out everywhere today, but this year, let's have a party and be normies ourselves. No, I don't think that's what normal means, Mayushi. Fubuki whispered, a little sad. A bunch of people asked Fubuki out on Christmas dates. You should have seen them all. We're all younger girls, though. Anyway, if everybody has a good time, Mayushi will be happy. That's all. Yuri gave a little bow and smiled to Suzuha. Suzuha answered with an expression that wasn't quite a smile. Okay, everybody, cheers, nya! Mahonyan, you give the toast. What? Me? You came all the way out here, so why not give a toast and introduce yourself? Maho stood up with a slight frown, thought for a moment before she opened her mouth. Thank you all for having me today. Dr. Leskinen and I are from America, so we've never spent Christmas in Japan before. And I'm finding out that spending a cheerful Christmas with friends is also a great... There's something interesting, yeah? Huh? Something interesting, yeah? What? Barris, you're crazy. Oh, she was totally losing it. She was worse than Mayuri had been a moment ago. It's hard to believe I'd seen her interpreting in front of that huge crowd at ATF. Was she bad at ad-libbing? Meow? Maho's desperate attempt at something interesting was cute, but honestly a little embarrassing. It felt like watching a small, adorable animal. Oh, Maho-nyan, you got what it takes to be a cat-eared maid! Yep, this is the birth of Mahoran Yan-yan. Barris and Mayuri were the ones who seemed really impressed. What am I doing? Maho, that toast. Right, I'll do that. Okay then. Cheers! Cheers! Clank. Everybody happily clinked their glasses together. I was the one who invited Maho to the party and decided to cheer her up. It was an interesting toast. I hate myself. What are you talking about? You were a cool cat. Maho-nyan, when are you starting at May Queen? I'm not, okay? Barris and Dr. Leskinen were both enjoying trying to make her feel better. Suzu, let's have a toast. Me too, Suzuha. Oh yeah. Suzuha still had a somber look on her face, but Mayuri, Yuki, and Daru forced her into a toast. Here, Suzu. Mayushi made this. Mayuri put a piece of quiche on a plate. Gave it to Suzuha. Suzuha took a bite, her expression began to shine. Good! Really? Yeah! Eat more, eat a lot! I can't eat it all at once. Oh yeah. Next, Mayuri offered the quiche to Maho and the professor. Maho and Dr. Leskinen, try some too! Thanks. It's good. This is really good. Okay, try this too. It's shrimp gratin, ethnic style fried chicken. Excellent. Really put a lot of effort into this. He went around and offered everyone something to eat. She couldn't bring herself to offer any to Suzuha. Mayuri kept monitoring her to go over, but Yuki just kept fidgeting. She was thinking about it too much. But Suzuha kept devouring all the food that Mayuri and Yuki had prepared, gushing all over each dish. The two of them had been practicing their cooking for about a month here in the lab. Guess it paid off. Oh, there's a cake too! Kaede did the decorations. I didn't do a very good job, so forgive me. Kaede's really kinda clumsy, but doesn't that just make her cuter? That really doesn't feel like a compliment. Everyone laughed. Then about an hour after we started eating, when she saw that everyone had eaten enough food, Barris clapped her hands together loudly to draw everyone's attention. Okay, Everkitty, now that we're all having fun, I'd like to start exchanging presents, nya. Didn't have any time to get something good. I hope that's okay. Maho and the professor had stopped at Don Quixote on their way from Waka City and spent just 10 minutes picking out presents. Don't worry, that's fine, yeah. I didn't bring anything. Mayushi and I brought yours. Mayushi was the one who chose it. See, sorry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Yuri mimicked Daru's words as she pulled out 2 small wrapped parcels from her bag and put them on the table. They both had the same wrappings as the one Daru was holding. They must have brought them at the same place. Mayuri had already explained to me, Operation Number 2. Yuri's plan for the evening was not only to make Suzuha smile, but to bring Yuki and Daru a little closer together. I thought of a lot of different ways to decide who gets what purse, but in the end I decided we're just going to draw numbers, yeah? Bears gathered together everyone's presents, with little stickers with numbers on them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she lifted a bundle of disposable chopsticks up above her head. I know she brought these so we could play the King's game tonight, yeah? What? Say that, Ferris? Hey, Mayuri, the King's game is something you play at singles parties. I know that. I just got a little confused. Well, I love it when girls order me to do things. Hashida, you really are a pervert. So we're going to use these chopsticks that Mayushi was a little confused about and use them to pick presents, yeah? Whatever number's on your chopstick you draw, that's the present you get, yeah? First, slowly shuffled all the chopsticks, and then we went around to everyone so they could draw one. It was also part of Mayuri's plan. In fact, Yuri and Ferris were sending signals to each other with eye contact and with their fingers. While everyone was focusing on the chopsticks, they were busy relabeling Yuki and Daru's presents. They were so obvious about it that I started getting nervous that Yuki would find out. Everybody get a chopstick, yeah? Okay. I'll hand out the presents. No opening your present till everyone's got theirs. It's really exciting, isn't it? I wonder what I'm gonna get. Ferris and Mayuri passed out the presents according to the numbers that everyone drew. Once the presents were handed out, everyone started to take off their wrapping paper. What? Nate was the first one to react as she gave out a very strange cry. Inside her box was a skull face. Oh, isn't that cool? The belt buckle, Nay. If you wear it to school, I'm sure it'll make you very popular. Thank you? Riku, you terrified her. Feeling bad for Nay, but when I took out my own present. Whose idea was this? The box had a cute design, and inside it was what looked like a see-through white veil. The veil was decorated here and there with little pink ribbons. This can't be a... Oh, you got it! Okarine! You can give it to Mayushi as a present. No way! I'm sure she'd be happy to wear it for you. Why are we talking about this? What's this about me? Mayuri heard her own name and came over. What's that, I wonder? It's baby doll lingerie, Mayushi. It's a super cute and sexy one. You can wear it for Okarine, okay? What? You know that's not happening. Why don't you wear it yourself? I'm giving this back. You can enjoy it yourself. Push the baby doll lingerie back into Fubuki's hands. Okay, want to exchange it for what I got? Fubuki handed me her present in exchange. The wrapping inlet had already been removed. I took a quick look inside. Sexy pink shorts and a pink bra. Yep, they were see-through. Oh, that was the present I brought. I'd love it if you had Mayuri wear it. Enjoy. Is that all you people think about? Mayushi already got a present from Okarine, so I'm okay. Mayuri had drawn my present, perhaps because we were childhood friends. By the way, I'd chosen a huge chunk of chocolate in the shape of a gold bar. The kind of thing you find in a Don Quixote bargain bin. Okarine, was there really nothing else you could have gotten? Shut up. I read it in a magazine that these things make hilarious party gifts. No, there's no way anybody would want to get this. None. Not a chance. What? Even a chance? The magazine said it was a sure thing. Mayushi's happy. It's a gold bar. I'm never going to get to touch another one in my whole life. Oh, you're such a good girl, Mayushi. You really are a good girl. There, there. Wookie and Kaede were panting Mayuri's head. I felt his sympathy, and half because she was cute. Somehow, I ended up as the bad guy. Okay, now it's my turn to open. He started to open her present. Wow! She took out a cute wooden music box. When she opened the lid, there was a little tin figure that danced. Wow, it's so cute! It's wonderful. So romantic. So nice. The girls all seemed really impressed. But Lukaku was a guy. Definitely looked like something a woman would enjoy receiving. With as many girls as they were coming to this party, I had the perfect choice. Wait, maybe I should have brought something like that. And I realized that the idea had never even occurred to me. Whose present could this be, Nya? Ferris, you're making it too obvious. Oh, me. Daru reluctantly raised his hand. Huh? What? Oh my. Uncle Daru, you're amazing. Nice, brother. Everyone except Mayuri and Ferris, who knew about it in advance, raised their voices in surprise. Is this from you then, Hashida? Oh, what do you think? Mayushi was the one who told me to get it. Wonderful. Thank you. I'll treasure this. Yuki held the music box close to her chest. She seemed really happy. And then her expression turned confused as she looked down into the box. Then she started to fidget. Excuse me. I need a second. She hurried off towards the washroom, still holding the box. She must have seen the trick. According to what Mayuri had told me earlier, there was a fake letter from Daru inside, taped to the bottom of the box. It was something like a love letter, along with an invitation to a movie date. I wondered how she was reacting. Meanwhile, Daru had opened his own present. He looked a little bothered. He'd been giving Ferris's present. Until he opened it, he looked really happy, and now he'd gone completely silent. According to Mayuri, he was going to get a pair of movie tickets. And even though it was a present from Ferris, the tickets came with instructions to use them for a date with Yuki. Ferris responded to Daru's questioning gaze with a wink. Good luck, Nya, she seemed to be saying. For her part, Ferris received some kind of strange doll that Maho had bought at the Don Quixote. Lukaku's present was a miniature remote-controlled helicopter that Dr. Leskinen had purchased. Dr. Leskinen got a set of 12 cute little crayons from Nei. Suzuha's present was a pair of handmade gloves. Yuki had evidently made them herself. She put them on looking happy, but maybe a little lonely, and smiled. That's great, Suzuha! Yeah. Wait, what did you get, brother? This. Daru realized he'd been set up. He was clearly avoiding looking at her. Suzuha seemed to understand and patted him on the back with a gentle expression on her face. Wrong with that? Go have a good time. What? To Suzuha? Well, it's frustrating watching you two. But I've never been on a real date. Neither has Mom, supposedly. What? Really? Yeah. I see. Yuki came back from the bathroom. She seemed to be having trouble walking straight. She sat back in her seat but began to nervously nibble on snacks at the table. Once in a while, she would take a look at Daru. For now, the movie ticket plan seemed to be going well. Stirring too much could tip her off. I should probably pretend I didn't know anything. Oh, Maho got the music box Mayushi brought. Mayuri raised her voice when she saw the music box in Maho's hand. It was shaped like a deformed bear, and when you wound it up, its hands and legs would jerk back and forth as it played a tune. It was a very different design than the one Yuki had received. Is it really okay for me to get something as nice as this? Sure it is. Go ahead. Go ahead. What kind of music does it play? I want to hear. Yeah, me too. Baho started to wind it up. She wound it, Kaede turned off the music in the background. Here we go. Baho took her hand off the winding key. The mechanical yet gentle sound that was unique to music boxes began to play. The lively atmosphere of the lab was replaced with a feeling of calmness and peace. He listened quietly to the sound of the music box. Maybe she really likes this song. So do I. Makes you feel all warm, right? Yeah, it does. Oh, I see. This is the song. Mizuha stood up, and she suddenly remembered something. Yuki, don't you remember? Huh? What? Yuki was spacing out so hard that she started to panic when Suzuha spoke to her. I was sick. You sang this song for me here. Oh, come to think of it. Yeah, it's definitely the song. Suzuha seemed to be remembering something as her eyes narrowed. Hey, Big Sis Mayu. What song is this? This is... Mayuri was about to speak and then... Out of nowhere, the world twisted. I moaned in pain and an incredible sense of wrongness flooded through me. The whole lab seemed to twist and fade. The happy party had been experiencing warped and waved like a mirage. It couldn't be. No! Somewhere far away I heard something that sounded like a violent crash. I was just barely able to move my eyes in the direction it came from, and I saw Fubuki falling to the floor as she'd knocked over a table. Kaede and Ferris ran over to her, calling her name. It all looked so blurred, like I was watching a movie underwater, and everything was moving so slow. The voices were getting further and further away. No matter how much I stretched out my hand, it reached no one and touched nothing. The terrible feeling, as if time and space were being torn apart, and even matter itself was losing its subjectivity. This feeling, even if I didn't want to remember, I knew what this awful feeling was. I knew it far better than I had ever wanted. This was... reading Steiner. We jumped world lines. Pandora's box. For the first time in almost 4 months, I felt like the whole world was twisting. Who was it? What changed the world line? I didn't do anything. I hadn't interfered with the world. Why was the world doing this to me? I opened my eyes. Things had already taken on different colors. The world kept wavering until once again it became fixed to a single point in time. I wasn't looking at a warm, cheerful party in the lab anymore. I was outside. It was raining. The rain was falling on my face, in drops so large that it hurt. It was a midwinter rain. It was freezing cold, and I could feel it sapping the strength from my body. You stopped twisting. Staring at the broad back of a man I didn't know. I could hear the sound of many boots stomping to the mud, mingling with falling rain. The stench was terrible. The smell of sewage was so strong it hurt to breathe, and it was mixed with the awful smell of burning rubber and plastic. Where was I? What was I doing right now? Around me had changed so much. I tried to understand the situation I was in, but my brain was having an awful time keeping up. We're almost there. Hang in there. When I stopped, a rough hand patted me on the shoulder, encouragingly. I looked around to see a man my age with a strong, powerful face. It was a face I'd never seen. I didn't know him, probably. This man was wearing a camo outfit and equipment I'd often seen the self-defense force wear on the news. He was carrying an assault rifle on his shoulder. 7 or 8 people around me, all dressed the same. Circular formation, and walked forward silently, as I kept a careful eye on the area around them. These people, the self-defense force? And I realized I was wearing the same camo uniform they wore. And the SDF too? I touched my bicep to check, but there was no muscle. It was flabby and weak. Unlike the others, I wasn't carrying any weapons. What's going on here? It felt like these 7 or 8 tough-looking SDF guys were all guarding me. When was I that important? Still confused, I dragged myself onwards. Was I anyway? The long path filled with the dark brown mud. The walls formed a tall silhouette to the left and right. The path was filled with garbage and concrete rubble. Sometimes we had to force our way past it. We looked up past the high walls. Despite the rain, the moon in the night sky was strangely red and a little too bright. It was thanks to the moon that we were able to walk down a path like this without flashlights. Huh? Sound. I heard a sound. The sound of water. I looked over its all hole into one of the walls. Filthy water was pouring out. The water formed dozens of little rivers that blocked our path. That was it. This was the bottom of a river that had dried up. It looked like high walls with the river dikes. Where are we? I turned toward the man who had spoken to me a bit ago and yelled that my voice could be heard over the rain. Shh, don't make any loud noises. Oh, sorry. We're almost through the city center. We can make it to the Rima garrison. There'll be a car waiting for you. But just keep walking. His words cut off there. Everyone seemed more tense than ever. One of them grabbed me and pushed me toward the side of the riverbed. Everyone put their backs against the wall and held their breath. I could hear the sound of helicopters' rotors in the distance. No, more than just one. We're getting closer. I had no idea what was going on, but I could feel my heart start to beat faster. Get in the shadow of that car. By several meters of rubble lay an overturned car. It must have fallen into the riverbed after the water had disappeared. The entire body was bent inward and the roof was completely crushed. I lay down in the stinking mud and slid into the shadow of the overturned car. At the same time, the SDF soldiers were issuing each other's orders, as if there was something they'd planned for already. Two of them stayed by my side, and everyone else ran back into the way we'd come. They all climbed up crevices and outcroppings on the wall, and disappeared over the edge of the dike and out of my view. Shortly after... those were gunshots. Not just a single shot from a handgun or anything like that. It was the sound of war. I could hear the helicopters getting further away, drawn by the gunfire. No. In this world line, was Japan at war? Third World War. I remembered Suzuha's words. I happened to look inside the crushed car. I could see the corpses of a man, a woman, and a small child hanging upside down, still attached to their seatbelts. They were all covered in dried black blood. They looked like mannequins at a bad haunted house. Then I realized. I'd been so focused on moving forward that I hadn't noticed what they were. I'd seen similar mannequins sunk into the mud. I could see their arms, the bones, the ragged muscle exposed to the air, reaching up to the sky as if seeking salvation. My hand over my mouth stifled a scream. They weren't mannequins. Now, get along the side of the wall and move. Huh? We're changing the route. Come on, stand up. He pulled me up. My knees were shaking from shock and exhaustion. The others are drawing away Soviet helicopters, but that won't last long. Hurry! Soviet Union? My mind was dull from the terror, but it seemed like there was something off about what he just said. Get a hold of yourself. Do you know how many people have died to protect you? Protect me? Why? You haven't been told why? But we were told to lay down our lives for it if we had to. That could change this country's future. The helicopter passed over the riverbed. The bright searchlight passed by for a moment, but thankfully, the shadow of the dike hid us. This way. The young SDF soldier, whose name I didn't even know, pulled me inside one of the holes in the concrete. When I looked closely, I could see that it was the entrance to a sewer. It was just big enough for a single person to pass through. Struggling against the flow of water that came up to my knees, I pressed on through the darkness. The sense of smell had already gone numb, so I didn't have to worry about the stench of the sewage. Once inside, we came to the several branching paths. The SDF soldiers seemed to know which one would lead where, and they marched on without hesitation. We came out of the sewer and back into a riverbed. Dried up, just like the one we'd been through. If it was the same river or another one, the two soldiers didn't tell me. Either way, I was glad to be finally out of the foul-smelling darkness. I tried to take a deep breath and fill my lungs with fresh air. But... Halfway through, I realized that the riverbed smelled even worse than the sewer. I took an involuntary step back and then another. The sight in front of me was just that terrible. What was once a riverbed was now filled with bodies. Some of them had been burned totally black, so it was impossible to tell how much death lay before me. In the distance, I could see what looked like bonfires. They were burning despite the rain. Fires were consuming the mountains of flesh that once were human bodies. We're almost there. I know it's rough, but can you run? Yeah. The SDF soldier spoke to me. Then I came back to my senses. If it weren't for those two, I wouldn't have been able to stay sane. I ran through the riverbed, one of them in front of me, the other behind. I could hear the constant drone of the helicopters above me. Sometimes the searchlights got very close. Each time they did, I hid in the piles of bodies until they passed. As many times before as I'd wandered through the wood lines. I'd seen death. I'd seen the moments when people had died. At the same time, I never experienced what happened to a dead person after they were left up for a long time. More than fear, more than sorrow. The thing that hit me first was the smell of death. Rotting stench ate away at my body, not my soul. My whole body was rejecting it. It made me feel sick. Thinking that way meant trampling on the dignity of the dead, but I couldn't help it. The Valley of Hinnom. I remember that phrase. It was what the strange attacker had said that night, when they came after Dr. Leskin and Maho and me. It's better for you to enter life with one eye than to have two eyes and be thrown into the Valley of Hinnom. The valley was the origin of the world of Gehenna, meaning hell. It said that flames burned there every night, scorching the heavens themselves. Those who died merciless deaths with anger and misery in their hearts were flung into the flames, their souls becoming black smoke that rained hatred down the land. Hey, Yen Boy! Welcome to the stream. Oh my god, so many things have happened. So many things have happened. What I stared at now was Gehenna. But how are you doing? And are you looking forward to your 3-day weekend? I know I am. You sound hooked to the story. I know I am. I'm like 80% done. I might finish it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, Valentine's Day. It's a week-long stream of reading Ego. I was, but now my sister is here. And now I wish I was a shorter weekend so she could leave sooner. Oh crap, Valentine's Day is so soon. Well, I don't have plans. Don't feel bad. I don't have plans either, other than our movie night. We can be alone together. The two soldiers led me to a half-collapsed subway tunnel. The lights were all off because there was no electricity. Oh yeah, movie night. Right? We gotta do something on Singles Awareness Day. But there was 3 armored cars in Camino colors, with their headlights on to illuminate the way. Oh, I guess that night I'm gonna celebrate my friend's birthday on Discord. Oh, nice! He's born on Valentine's Day? Or she? He or she? They? His birthday is on the 15th, so we're gonna watch The Clock Strikes Midnight. Oh, I've never heard of that. Is that a drama? Suspense? Thriller? Romance? There were 4-wheel drive, off-road vehicles covered in thick chunks of armor, but I didn't see any real weapons. You can take the subway route to escape to Saitama. I hear it's still safe there at Haruma Base. If you can get that far, you should be able to escape Kanto. Oh my god, no. I mean, literally, we're going to celebrate his birthday at midnight. Oh. Doi. I see. Well, that's exciting. Escape Kanto? Ask them about it. For now, just hurry. There were a lot of things I wanted to ask. And even as we spoke, I heard what sounded like gunshots outside the tunnel. The men forced me into the back seat of one of the cars. Goodbye. I'll be praying for your safety. What? What about you guys? We have other missions to carry out. Farewell. Two soldiers who brought me here saluted, then turned around and left the station. Okay, gotta get ready for my stream. Bye. If you're still streaming in 2+ hours, I'll be back. Okay, sounds good, young boy. You have a good night on your stream. And if I'm still here, you're more than welcome to come back. You take care. I felt like I was never going to see them again. The door of the armored car slammed shut with a heavy thud. The car's crew was FDF soldiers, just a little older than me. Diesel engine kicked to life as the car raced down a tunnel that had originally been designed for trains. Of course, it wasn't a pleasant ride at all, but I didn't have any choice. There was no way I could tell them I wanted to go to Akihabara. No way to alter the world line. I had to survive in this hellish world. To survive, I needed to do what they said. Wants didn't matter at all. I wasn't even allowed to express them. I just did as they told me and ran. It was all I could do. I had no idea that it would take an entire month. Oh, okay, I can read this. So we're looking at a chat board. Anonymous at Security Council. The story so far. USSR starts experimenting with a time machine. America goes apeshit. Give me that time machine. USSR, but I refuse. Eastern powers and Soviets get cocky. How's it feel to be right now? Huh? How's it feel? This brings us to the end of the regular scheduled Cold War. US, I'ma bomb you from Japan. WWW. Then we'll invade Japan. Oh shit. Right now? USSR is kicking ass. Hokkaido and any Japan are screwed. Northeast Japan are screwed. Are they coming for Central Japan now? People of Nagoya. Get the fuck out! Captain Vegeta, amateurs who know nothing about strategy need to shut the f up. SDF may look like they're retreating, but they're actually got a defense line at Mount Fuji. They're about to start a counterattack. The Mount Fuji line. WWW. Who the hell is dumb enough to believe Japanese Imperial High Command? WWW. We better not start hearing calls for kamikaze pilots soon. Shut up, noob. Idiots like you are the real threat to Japan. Wait, what the hell happened to collective right of self-defense? America's only interested in protecting Okinawa. So what the hell's the FDF doing getting sent off to Siberia? How are they supposed to protect the country? Protect it, Chicken Hawk. You want to fight? Go volunteer. They say you weren't getting enough recruits. Are they going to start conscripting soon, you think? What's the point of conscripting a bunch of fat otaku? They just get in the way. War these days requires professional soldiers. Says the fat otaku who doesn't want to go to war. There are barely any professional soldiers left in Japan. Our masters in America sent them all around the globe. And then stuck them there. You guys will probably be getting your conscription notices soon. Good luck. I'm a chick, so I don't care. Damn. Women. In other words, if we get a sex change, we don't have to go, right? The real enemies of Japan are its own citizens, huh, asshole? So seriously, are we gonna split up like Germany? It's likely. They say there's a provisional government forming in Okinawa. They're all set to abandon East Japan and just have America protect the West. Those incompetents in the government might honestly do it. Is this really the time to bash politicians? Traitor is shill. Traitor. WWW shill. WWW. Strategically, America can't let go of Okinawa. Japan wants to get some kind of government. That means that making a provisional government in Okinawa is the best option. You bashed the hell of Okinawa up until now, and now you're telling me this? Shut up, traitor. So if I'm a traitor, what are you? If you're posting on @Chan right now, that means you're either fled the country or ran to Okinawa. Uh-oh. And then, so today's, you don't get to talk thread. Huh. Interesting. Got a new tip. W. The reason it took a month to get to Okinawa was that we were losing the war. Supposedly the plan had been to ferry me by plane to Okinawa once I arrived at Aruma base, but the constant bombing had slowed us down, so they gave up on the plane and decided I would escape to Kyushu by ground. There was more than one attack by Soviet spies and assault teams. Some of the FDF soldiers protecting me died. When I got to Sasebo, I was able to get on a maritime SDF escort ship and managed to escape to Okinawa. Doing all this for me. No matter how many times I asked, no one would answer. Okinawa in winter was covered in thick clouds. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen a real break in the clouds for a whole month. I was thinking about that when I loaded up into a van with dark tinted windows that had come to pick me up from the port. Inside the car was not only the driver but a middle-aged man sitting in front passenger seat. He was very short, perhaps only around 150 centimeters tall. But he had the air of a military veteran, and even though he was fully dressed, I could tell he was extremely muscular. Okabe Rentaro, correct? I'm Shimoyama, the Ministry of Defense's Intelligence Security Command. Going to make a stop at the airport and then head to Okinawa Defense Bureau in Kadena. And if you're tired from your long journey, but I'll have to ask you to hang in there a while longer. Right. Jesus! I heard that Tokyo had been destroyed. Major functions of the Japanese government were now headquartered out of the Okinawa Defense Bureau to allow for better cooperation with the American forces stationed nearby. That was Shimoyama explained to me. In other words, the place I was heading to was the core of Japanese defenses. As I arrived, would I understand why it was so important? That all those soldiers were willing to die to protect me? The car stopped in front of Naha Airport for a while. I saw a surprising pair get aboard. Okabe! Wow, it's really Okarin. Yuki and Nakase. I wasn't expecting to see them here. They were the first people I knew who I'd met since coming to this world line. That alone was almost enough to make me cry. Still, I couldn't just sit there and be happy. What about Mayuri? Do you know where she is? It's fine. He nodded, as if trying to make me feel better. He was just with us. Just with you. Right, Mayushi and Rumiho, and Luka, Kaede. Got to the airport this morning. We were all waiting because they said we could go to some place called the Defense Bureau, where we'd be safe. They said they'd take Fubuki and me there first. They had us get inside this car when we found you. Anyway, I'm glad everybody's safe. Daru and Suzuha weren't mentioned. I was going to ask about them, but... Sorry. Can you talk about this later? Then Muyama cut me off and the car started moving. The plan is for your families to arrive at Okinawa Defense Bureau eventually. We already have them under protection. Really? I'm so glad. Your other friends are all in the car behind us. You haven't been separated, so don't worry. Take a quick look and saw another identical van a little behind us. So Yuri and the others were there. See them later, right? Of course. He let out a sigh of relief. Started to wonder about something else. Why were we split into different cars? This van could at least... could hold at least another 3 people. If we squeezed tight, it could easily hold everyone. For some reason, they'd put me, Yuki, and Fubuki into the same car. The car drove alongside the Okinawa monorail for a while, and then went south down a wide bypass. It's so dark. Huh? What's that? Nothing, just... there are all these stores. They're all dark. There were lots of franchise restaurants, big supermarkets, cafeterias for tourists, rent-a-car places all jammed together along the side of the road. All of them were dead silent. Their lights were turned off. Any of the streetlights were turned on. The only cars were Japanese and US military vehicles. I didn't see anyone out walking. There's a blackout in effect, as well as a curfew past 5 p.m. Okinawa may be safe, but this is still wartime. Things can't be like they were. Can't wait for the war to end and everything to go back to normal. Wartime, huh? Tell me, Okabe, the Okinawa unit was a bright, fun place even at night, wasn't it? I wouldn't know. I've never been to Okinawa before. Shame. I heard you get back for a good vacation sometime. This really is a nice island. The car headed up from the bypass over a land bridge, then to another road. We quickly came to a long tunnel. Actually wanted to ask the three of you some questions before we got to the bureau. That's why I have you riding with me. Huh? Guess was right. That meant there was something he wanted to ask just the three of us. Why us three? I wasn't particularly close to Yuki or Fubuki. I started talking to them a few months ago. I shook my head. It was before the world line changed. Maybe things were different in this world line. I had no idea what my relationship was to anyone else on this world line. The FDF had been treating me so well, I didn't want to make Shimoyama suspicious. I decided it would be best to leave most of the talking to Yuki and Fubuki. Yuki Amane. Yes? Shimoyama spoke to Yuki first. He went stiff when her name was called. I could feel it even sitting next to her. You don't know where Hashide Taro and his little sister are, do you? Sister? Suzuha. I mean that even in this world line, Suzuha had come from the future and gotten to know Yuki and the others while pretending to be Suzuha's sister. The SDF evidently didn't know where Daru and Suzuha were. No, Yuki fell silent and glanced over to me, as expecting help. I didn't know where they were either. I didn't even have any memories of this world line. I had no way of answering. His attitude bothered me. It was as if she knew where they were and was deliberately hiding it. That I was supposed to be hiding it too. I could figure that out. I'm sure Shimoyama could too. A strange tension filled the car. He was trying to hide it. From whom? You're sure you don't know? Yama turned around from the front passenger seat and asked again. Sorry. Bowed her head in apology. You were very close to him, weren't you? You were his lover, and yet you heard nothing? You know that sound phones don't work anymore, right? There are plenty of ways to get in touch with someone besides a cell phone. But I really don't. Nothing from his sister either? Nothing. By the way, I'm told that you were researching something with Hashida, Okabe. Huh? I'm not sure how to react when the conversation suddenly turned towards me. Searching? Searching what? Oh, if I panic, I'll make them suspicious. What you were researching? I would have just have to give in on the most harmless answers I could. It wasn't research, it was more like inventions. Inventions? Whether you could attach a CCD camera to a bamboo copter to do aerial photography. Then you could use the heat from a vacuum cleaner as a hairdryer. Oh, it's interesting. You weren't, say, making something unbelievable and running away from us so that we wouldn't find out what it was. Away. Damn, I responded. It was a mistake. I think that Daru and Suzuha were hiding from the SDF amongst all the chaos. They had risked their lives to protect me over the past month. Should I be asking them for help? Even more confused. If you don't know, then that's fine. We'll talk about Hashida and his sister some other time. Somebody, please tell me what the right answer is. How am I supposed to respond here? Katsumi Nakase, there was something else I wanted to ask you. Me? This time it was Fubuki's turn to jump in her seat. No, don't get so nervous, it's nothing big. Or so Shimoyama said, but Fubuki was clearly starting to get scared. The reaction was strange, it was too strong. Maybe the self-defense forces weren't simply protecting us. For one thing, there was no way normal civilians, I guess, merited such important treatment. What were they after? Oh, I could guess. The time machine. The war started with Russia's time machine experiments. Of course, Nakabachi was involved. I learned from some of the soldiers that even in this world line he'd sought asylum in Russia. Suzuha was a time traveler from the year 2036. Suzuha was here in this area. That meant that it was Daru who made the time machine that brought her here. At a time machine, you could change the outcome of this war. Makes sense that if that's why the Japanese government thought, and if that was why they were trying to capture Daru, Suzuha, and their friends. I realized that, the whole situation started to feel terrifying to me. Was this car really headed towards the Okinawa Defense Bureau? If it was it really going to keep us safe there? About the physical you underwent last week. There's some problem? No, you almost recovered from the wounds you sustained in Tokyo, and health-wise, you're fine. You're under a lot of stress. Oh. Not surprising you survived that terrible bombing. It's no exaggeration to say that most civilians have PTSD now. It seems that your symptoms are a little different than most people's. Very realistic dreams, for example. Particularly severe instances. They can almost be called waking dreams. I'm told at times you lose the ability to tell the difference between dreams and reality. Isn't that just PTSD, though? Wookie was too scared to speak, so Yuki interrupted curtly. It was rare to see Yuki act like this. If nothing else, I'd never seen it before. Plain now. Yuki didn't trust Shimoyama. In fact, she considered him an enemy. No, it's very strange. Shimoyama paused a moment for effect, rubbed his chin. There are others who say who have very similar dreams, and not just one or two. What? Of course, the degree to which they suffer from this problem changes. We found more than 10 in Japan alone. Exist in other countries too. Well, we've only got information from the West. Just a coincidence, isn't it? Ruki was incredibly frightened. I spoke in her place. Fuchin, right? Shimoyama turned his gaze towards me and asked me a question. Fuchin? Soviet, General Secretary, right? I almost let the President of Russia, but managed to stop myself. The Soviet Union still existed in this world line. Fuchin's title was General Secretary, not President. I'd heard that during my time in Iruma. Correct, but interesting enough, Nakase referred to him as the President of Russia. What? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm not really what you'd call a good student. No, that's not it. It's one of the strange things about all the people who have these dreams. They all call him President Putin. They all call Gorbachev and Lenin presidents too. But the scientists have started calling it President's Disease. Not a terribly clever name if you ask me. No way. Is he talking about reading Steiner? Strong chance that people besides me had that power, even if not as acutely. Never found out for sure, but what Ferris had said in the Alpha World line certainly suggested it. Certainly possible that Shimoyama's walking dreams were actually the effects of reading Steiner. We're all aware of the world line shift a month ago, just like me. Wookie had the same memories of the other world line that I had. Make perfect sense that she called Fuchin a president. Gorbachev? Leslin? You didn't know them. Didn't they teach that in world history? I only took science classes in high school. Thought everyone knew about them. Do kids today not know who they are? I find it hard to believe you're all that ignorant. I'm sure you know about Gorbachev and Leslin. Right, Okabe? Yeah, I suppose so. Perestroika and the fall of the Berlin Wall? Yeah, they were in the textbooks. The second after the words were out of my mouth, an alarm went off in my mind. Something was wrong. There was something strange about what Shimoyama was saying. Then I realized the East and West were caught up in the middle of a world war. How could the Berlin Wall have fallen? Gorbachev really execute Perestroika? By the time I realized he tricked me, it was too late. My panic appeared on my face. You too, huh? We're deliberately trying to hide it, weren't you? The information was right after all. You know something important. Listen, Okabe, I want you to tell me. Inoyama suddenly laughed. It was a bitter laugh, almost eerily so. Gorbachev, listen, who are these people you all keep talking about? I don't have any data on them. They do any of the American intelligence agencies. That data doesn't exist. Exist? Looked over at Yuki. Look on her face, I could tell that she really had no idea who they were. Perestroika and the fall of the Berlin Wall, did these things really happen? Tell me, please. Couldn't answer. Thinking of something completely different. Suddenly realized that why the war line might have changed a month ago on Christmas Eve. Russia used the time machine that day, in an experiment to change the past. The goal of the experiment would have been to stop the collapse of the Soviet Union. The result of them changing the past was this world line. How foolish. A single change to the past and the butterfly effect makes the entire world so different. They know how many people had died? Have you and your friends really experienced the history of a different world? Can't believe it. It's just nonsense cooked up by some crazy scientists. They're about to push me further when I heard the sound of an incoming call on a cell phone. Yama grunted and took his phone out of his pocket. Shimoyama. Yeah, we're on our way to the bureau. What do you mean? Damn it, that's the problem with these idiots. What country do these politicians think we're working for? Yama's finger slammed down on the end call button so hard that I thought the phone would break. There was a look of rage on his face. Changing our destination. Head to Kadena Base, Gate 2. His words were filled with irritation as he spoke to the driver. Changing destinations? Just talking to. They sat there confused. Shimoyama started to call someone else. Shimoyama, we're changing our destination. We'll meet at Gate 2 at Kadena Base. That's all he said before he hung up. What's going on? Situation's changed. Okabe's heading to a U.S. military base. From there, you might get to take a fun trip on a U.S. Air Force plane to America. What? America? Less than to make sure you get first-class accommodations, but don't get your hopes up. They don't listen to us anymore. Then you'd listen to a yapping pet dog. Why America? I don't know if it's the CIA or the NSC, but someone wants us to hand you over. Why? Ask them yourself. They turned back towards the front and fell silent, refusing to answer any more of my questions. The car went down the road for a while, until we got off at an exit that read South Okinawa. Stopped in front of the gate. Several U.S. soldiers had evidently been waiting for my arrival. We hand you over to the Americans. We're not going to get any accurate information from them. My last chance. Yama turned around from the front passenger seat and looked straight at me. His eyes were desperate and begging. Tell me, what are we supposed to do from now on? Please. I remember the soldiers in Tokyo who'd fought so desperately to protect me. Fighting to help someone else in Tokyo right now? They already... I don't know. Kobe, I really don't know. Think I can do something about this war all by myself? That Gorbachev and Lenin were presidents of Russia, or that they brought a dramatic end to the Cold War. That doesn't actually help anything. The sound of another car getting closer. Yama sighed and opened the passenger side door. Get out. Exited the car as I was told. Okarin! Yuri got out of the van behind us and ran over to me. Mayuri! Okarin! My childhood friend flung into my arms. I held her tight. I finally get to see you.